A shift in feeling is a shift in destiny. Neville Goddard. You don't need more proof. You need more faith in what you feel. The reality you see right now has no authority over who you truly are, unless you agree with it. At this very moment, a new version of you is waiting to emerge. This version isn't waiting for the money to show up, for love to appear, or for life to finally improve. It simply decides, I already am. And the world, like an obedient mirror, begins to bend and rearrange itself in response to that decision. This message is your invitation to cross the invisible line between desire and possession. You won't hear empty promises or sugar-coated affirmations here. Instead, you'll receive a direct, emotional, and creative roadmap that will show you how to live as if you already have it. Because you're not pretending. You're creating. If this resonates with the truth pulsing inside you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to awaken to their power, and subscribe to the channel. Your transformation begins the moment you take back your throne. Now take a deep breath, silence the noise around you, and get ready to return home. The invisible reflection. Reality as a mirror. Reality isn't a fixed stage. It's a living canvas that reflects the state of your inner world. What you call life is actually the response to what you consistently believe, feel, and expect. There are no ultimate facts, only mirrors showing you the invisible states you're holding on to. Every limitation you see is just a reflection, not a final sentence. Every bit of abundance you experience is the fruit of an inner root. And the truth is simple, life doesn't happen to you, it responds to you. The moment you truly understand that the external world is only an echo, you realize that nothing out there needs to change first. Your bank account isn't the real problem. It's the result of what you've assumed to be true about yourself. The broken relationship, the unfulfilling job, the health issue, all of it is a projection of deeper assumptions. Trying to fix the outer world without changing the inner one is like painting over a mirror and expecting a different reflection. The starting point is always internal, quiet, and emotional. Reality isn't creative, it's obedient. What surrounds you right now doesn't define who you are, it only reflects where your awareness has been living. If you truly want to see a new reality, it's not enough to wish for it. You must move internally, shift your inner residence, and adopt a new state of being. What you feel to be true consistently will eventually harden into fact. The external world is slow and reactive. Consciousness, however, is immediate, creative, and fluid. Every transformation starts with the decision to dwell in a new inner state, even when logic is screaming that it's impossible. You don't wait for the mirror to smile at you before you smile. You smile first, even when there's nothing yet to see. This is the language of conscious creation. When you stop reacting and start choosing, you begin to move to a new rhythm, one where you lead and the world follows. This is sovereignty of consciousness. This is the foundation of true freedom. The seed of imagination, planting abundance in the unseen. To grow something new in this invisible field, you must understand the soil. And the soil is your imagination. Imagination is not a harmless pastime of the mind, it's the birthplace of reality itself. Everything you see around you was once invisible. It began as a thought, an image, or a felt desire. When you use your imagination with intention, you are touching the purest power of creation. You're not simply daydreaming, you're planting realities. What you vividly imagine with feeling is absorbed by the subconscious as truth. And once the subconscious accepts something, the external world has no choice but to obey. This is why casual daydreaming isn't enough. You must live inwardly the reality you want to experience outwardly. Create a scene, a memory of the future, and step into it with conviction. Feed the scene with details, sounds, colors, textures, emotions. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and imagined, it only knows what is consistently felt. This is how you plant abundance long before there's any physical reason to feel grateful. This is how you turn the impossible into the inevitable. Start simple. Imagine yourself smiling as you see a positive bank balance, giving generously, living peacefully. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the sense of safety now. The more you repeat this inner experience, the more it becomes your new baseline. What seems like fiction today becomes memory tomorrow. But this transition only happens when the invisible is nurtured with unwavering faith, like planting a seed without checking the soil every 5 minutes. Every time you imagine with genuine intention, you are declaring to the universe, "This is who I am now." And the universe, in perfect order, responds with circumstances, connections, and opportunities that match. You can use imagination as an escape, or as a lever. You can relive your past traumas, or rehearse your future victories. The difference lies in the level of consciousness you bring to the act. Your imagination is your most loyal ally, but it demands emotional commitment and presence. This intimate space of creation is where true power is born, the power of feeling in advance. Feel to create, emotion as the language of reality. Reality doesn't respond to what you think. It responds to what you feel. Feeling is the frequency on which creation is broadcast. You can repeat affirmations 1,000 times, but if deep down you're living in fear, lack, or doubt, that's what will show up. Emotion is the signal that activates the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. There is no creation without emotional involvement. What you feel as true, with consistency, will inevitably become your lived experience. This is why, when you imagine a new reality, the picture itself is less important than the emotion it generates. Joy, peace, relief, gratitude, these are the codes that paint the invisible with permanent colors. This is how you convince your body that you already are, and your body then communicates that new identity to the external world. Feeling is the energetic signature that says, "This is real for me." And the physical world responds with absolute obedience. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel something you don't. It's about allowing the feeling to naturally arise as you surrender to the imagined scene. Breathe, close your eyes, step into the image as if you were revisiting a memory. See it, hear it, touch it, smell it. Let the emotion wash over you as if it were happening now. The more real the emotion, the stronger the seed. And the stronger the seed, the faster the harvest. You don't need to fake anything. You simply need to feel it for real. And for that, sometimes, you must quiet the outer world, close your eyes, and inhabit the scene as if it were your new home. When the emotion embraces you, creation is complete. This is why so many people visualize but fail to manifest, because they've turned imagination into a technique with no soul. But when you add your heart to it, the universe bends at your command. Feeling makes the unseen real. Rewriting who you are. The shift in self-concept. You will never manifest a reality that's bigger than the character you believe yourself to be. Life doesn't respond to your wishes, it responds to your self-concept. If deep down you see yourself as unworthy, unlucky, or limited, that identity will sabotage any image of abundance you try to hold. The outer world doesn't just listen to what you want, it listens to what you assume to be true about yourself. Manifestation is born from identity, not from need. Changing your self-concept is like rebuilding the foundation of a building. It requires courage and consistency. But it's in those invisible foundations that everything you live is anchored. You might want wealth, but if you still see yourself as someone who wasn't meant for it, you're digging a hole instead of building a bridge. Lasting change begins when you ask yourself, who am I being right now? Not, what do I want to have? Because who you are dictates what you manifest. Your self-image was built through repetition, experiences, trauma, and external voices. But now you have the power to rewrite it. How? By creating new inner experiences that contradict the old narrative. You begin to see yourself as prosperous, abundant, worthy. You start to feel how this new version of you thinks, speaks, and moves. As this image solidifies, the outer world rearranges to match. Self-concept doesn't change overnight, but it can be transformed through emotional persistence. With every new assumption felt, every "I am" declared with conviction, your being is repositioned. The new version begins to take up space until the old one has nowhere left to live. And then, without struggle, without forcing, the world begins to reflect the new you. Not because you fought for it, but because you became it. The power of words, how language shapes reality. The words you speak are not just sounds, they are energetic commands sent into the unseen. When you keep repeating phrases like, I never have enough, I'm so unlucky, or that's too expensive, you're reinforcing inner states of lack. Language shapes your field of creation. Every word is a brick. And what you build with those bricks will become the house you live in, a house of fear or a house of abundance. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It records every emotionally charged statement as an unquestionable truth. Negative phrases are not just venting, they are instructions. They tell the external world, this is how I want things to keep being. This is why changing your reality inevitably requires changing your vocabulary. Words are sacred keys. With them, you either unlock or block the flow of abundance. Instead of saying, I can't, start saying, I am choosing differently. Instead of declaring, nothing ever works out for me, say, everything is aligning for my good. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about directing your focus toward what you want to expand. Speaking consciously is a form of spiritual action. You use words not to describe what is, but to affirm what you've decided will be. Affirmations like, I am prosperous, abundance flows to me, money loves me, are not magic spells, they are identity formulas. The more you repeat them with genuine feeling, the more your body, mind, and energy field align with this new state. Words are seeds. And every seed planted with faith and persistence will grow, even when the soil looks dry. But it's not enough to talk about what you desire. You must live as someone who already has it. Words prepare the soil, but emotional posture plants the seed. And that posture is strengthened when you learn to live in the end, to embody your desired reality now. Living in the end, stepping into the scene of fulfillment. Living in the end is not about waiting for results to show up. It's about inhabiting the reality you desire, internally, right now. You create your future the moment you feel it as your present. The end isn't a place in time, it's a state of being. When you step into the scene of fulfillment, everything shifts, your body relaxes, anxiety dissolves, urgency disappears. Because someone who already has it doesn't ask. Someone who already is doesn't chase. They simply live. The secret is simple. Create an inner scene that symbolizes your desire already fulfilled. It could be you signing the contract, traveling in peace, giving with joy. The image itself doesn't matter as much as how you feel inside the experience. The more vivid and detailed you make it, the more real it will feel. And the more real it feels, the faster it manifests. The universe doesn't distinguish between memory, imagination, or fact. It only responds to what vibrates as true. You don't need to convince anyone else. You only need to convince yourself. The moment you believe that it's yours, even without evidence, is the moment the creation is locked in. Doubt unravels the image. Certainty builds it. And certainty grows stronger every time you revisit the scene, feel it deeply, and live inside it as if it were already a memory. This is faith in action. When you live in the end, you stop asking and start thanking. You stop waiting and start enjoying. This inner enjoyment begins to shape your external posture. You start acting, deciding, and behaving in alignment with this new state. Not because you're pretending, but because you're inhabiting. This inner habitation is what attracts matching circumstances. The world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your deepest state. Inspired action, acting without need or desperation. Action taken from desperation screams, I don't have it yet. Inspired action whispers, this is already mine. When you act from fear of losing, from urgency, or from the need to prove something, you're reinforcing lack. The physical world picks up on this frequency and gives you more of the same. But when action is born from the state of already having, it becomes natural, effortless, and incredibly effective. It doesn't come from trying to fill a void, it comes from overflow. Acting from abundance doesn't mean doing nothing. It means moving from a place of inner certainty. The inspiration comes with clarity, peace, and alignment. You feel as if you're simply responding to what is already yours, rather than chasing something distant. The focus is no longer on getting, but on expressing who you've already become. And the result? The right doors open, without force. This is the key to breaking the cycle of frustration. Many people exhaust themselves with endless action, hoping for results that contradict their inner state. And when the results don't come, they think they need to do even more. But the truth is, they need to feel differently. True action begins within. Your body only carries out what your heart has already assumed. Otherwise, it's anxious theater with no real power. Inspired action has one unique signature: it's accompanied by peace. Even when effort is required, there's a sense of purpose. There's no fear, no doubt, no fight against time. You feel as if you're following a greater, unseen flow, and the more you act in that alignment, the more the path becomes clear. Abundance recognizes its own footsteps. But to walk with this confidence, you must cultivate something essential: gratitude that precedes the harvest. Gratitude in advance, the magnet for the unseen. Gratitude is the fastest bridge between the invisible and the visible. When you give thanks for something that hasn't yet appeared, you're telling reality, "This is already mine." This true gratitude closes the gap between desire and possession. There is no longer distance between now and your dream. Gratitude is a vibrational code that collapses time. What was future becomes present. And the present begins to expand. Being grateful for what you already have is powerful. But being grateful for what you can't yet see, that's transformational. You're no longer waiting. You're confirming with your heart what your mind can't yet prove. This gratitude isn't forced or mechanical. It's a state of consciousness. You begin to walk through your home as someone who has already received. You speak as someone who has already lived it. You breathe as someone who has already manifested it. You don't manufacture this gratitude, you cultivate it. Start by noticing the small abundances already around you: the bed you sleep in, the sunlight on your skin, the glass of water, a loving glance, the fact that you woke up today. Every sincere moment of gratitude strengthens certainty, and that certainty generates even more reasons to be grateful. It's a virtuous cycle where gratitude becomes the cause, not just the effect. You're grateful not for what you see, but for what you know is on its way. Gratitude and lack cannot coexist. When you consistently cultivate gratitude, you're deprogramming fear, doubt, and urgency. You're silently declaring, "It is already done," and life answers, "Then here it is." It's in this space that the invisible takes form, shape, and presence. Gratitude doesn't beg. It doesn't wait. It welcomes. And those who welcome the new with love will inevitably witness it. The power of ignoring, handling contradictory reality. What you see right now is only the echo of old assumptions. The circumstances surrounding you today are the delayed reflections of what you believed, felt, and accepted in the past. This is why giving too much attention to what is only feeds an old cycle. The secret isn't to fight reality, but to ignore whatever doesn't align with the life you've decided to live. Ignoring doesn't mean denial. It means choosing what deserves your creative energy. When you look at an empty bank account and still affirm inwardly, "I am prosperous," you are reprogramming the unseen. When fear knocks but you choose to give thanks for what hasn't yet arrived, you are dismantling the old pattern. This emotional discipline is true power. Ignoring appearances is like planting in the middle of a storm. You know the sky will clear, even when the soil is drenched. Most people fail because they react to what they see. But a conscious creator acts from what they know. You learn to observe without absorbing, to feel without surrendering, to see limitation and remain loyal to your inner vision anyway. This takes courage, yes. But above all, it requires unshakable loyalty to your imagination. Your imagination is more real than any external evidence. It is the origin, and everything else is only consequence. Saying, "This is just an old echo, it's on its way out," is a powerful antidote. It repositions your mind, dissolves doubt, and reinforces the new identity you've chosen. The longer you sustain your vision in the midst of chaos, the faster the chaos dissolves. Reality yields to what you consistently feel, not to what you fear momentarily. Persisting in the assumption, even without signs, is the alchemy of masters. The identity of abundance, stepping into the throne of being. You don't manifest abundance. You reveal it. Because abundance isn't something you acquire, it's something you are in essence. Identity is the throne of creation. Everything you experience bends to the character you play internally. When you claim with conviction, "I am someone who lives in prosperity," reality doesn't argue, it mirrors it. The outer world is simply a supporting actor in the script you're writing in the unseen. This identity isn't based on your past or inherited limitations. It's born from the consciousness of who you choose to be now. It doesn't matter if no one around you believes it. It doesn't matter if the results haven't shown up yet. What matters is what you sustain in secret, in the dark, in silence. Identity doesn't need applause, it needs conviction. Physical reality doesn't respond to performance. It responds to felt truth. Assuming the identity of someone abundant doesn't mean showing off. It means carrying in your body the ease of someone who knows that everything is already provided. It's walking with the posture of someone who trusts, who has direction, who no longer moves from fear. Abundance doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your chest. And when your chest is full, the world opens up. Because what you accept as "I am" transforms into what you live as "I have." This is why you don't need to beg or chase. You only need to inhabit. Immerse yourself in this abundant version of yourself until it's the only one possible. Speak as them, walk as them, choose as them. And then, naturally, the outer world will reorganize itself. Because reality always respects the being. Who you are magnetizes. And what you magnetize materializes. Creation follows the one you decide to be. Write in the comments your declaration of power: "My new reality is already mine." Because now, you're not just affirming, you're living as someone who already has it. And it's here that the truth becomes crystal clear. Abundance is not something we acquire. It's something we tune into. Wayne Dyer.